us. And so we ask that you would speak to us and give us your wisdom and kindness. That you would open our ears, our minds, and our hearts to be able to hear everything shared, to learn, to take it, and to make it a part of our lives. Father, we honor and bless who you are. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. All right. So I want you guys to hold on. I'm going to show you something. Can you guys see this? Oh wait, hold on. That's wrong. Yeah, there it is. Okay, all right. Okay, so don't forget when you guys come in and we get started, what I said each week is what I'm going to do. You can join us at the table. Come on. You don't like sitting up in the front? This not the front. I'm the front. Okay. All right. So what I said was when as we're starting each week, I would come in and give you guys some updates of just in terms of how I see the market, what's going on, what's happening, and some things that we need to pay attention to. And sometimes I'll come in and give you guys some insights about the market and what's happening and all that. And so tonight I want to share with you guys a strategy. Y'all ready? Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to share with you guys a strategy. So can you guys see the headlines on the screen? Mm-hmm. What does it say? Okay. Now, if you read that, for the average person, we would just read that and next, right? You just move to the next article. But if you're thinking like an investor, you can't let that pass you up, right? And so you got to slow down and read the article. So when's the date? December 3rd, 2025. Now, let's read this together, right? So, what does it say? Mm-hmm. All right, now, I want you to pay attention to this. What is that? Drone dominance goals. What do you think that means? Possibly. War is definitely included in that. But what do you think that means? Yes, right? Huh? Oh, definitely the most, right? And so what that's telling us is that the U.S. government has plans for drone dominance. They want the most drones of any country in the world. Right? You gotta hear that as an investor, right? And so watch this. Laid out by the president. Now watch this. On June 6th, President Donald J. Trump signed the Unleashing American Drone Dominance Executive Order, right? Which is this whole thing, right? So here's the first piece of your homework. I need you guys to go home and read this. Right? And it's just like a whole page full of stuff. It is his executive order. I need you to read what the executive order says about unleashing American drone dominance. Right? You need to read that. And you need to read it because the president is telling you what to invest in. He's telling you where to put some money. Yeah, well, he cares, and we'll get into why they're talking about fast. Miss T, you was about to say something, or Miss Kelly, you was about to say something. All good. Got to find your phone. And there it is. Right. I'm not saying nothing about nobody. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. Miss Kelly, listen, Kelly said, I ain't talking about nobody. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. All I got to say is somebody picked up my phone. Where is it? Oh, it's over there where I plugged it up. Listen, my previous self took my phone. All right. Okay, so here we go. So everybody write this down. All right, so you want to go home and you want to read that. Why? Because this is an executive order from the President of the United States. And he's telling you where he's about to spend some money. All right? And so, all right, so watch this. So on June 6th, President Donald J. Trump signed the Unleashing American Drone Dominance executive order outlining how the United States would up its drone game in both the commercial and military sectors. So there's your war piece, right? Including how it would deliver massive amounts of inexpensive, American-made lethal drones to U.S. military units to amplify their combat capabilities. Hegseth followed up in July with the Unleashing U.S. Military Drone Dominance Memorandum, in which he laid out his plan for how the department would meet the president's intent. Part of the secretary's plan included participating with other parts of government in building up the nascent U.S. drone manufacturing base. Listen, building up the nascent U.S. drone what? Manufacturing base by approving hundreds of American products for purchase by the department, powering a technological leapfrog by arming combat units with the very best of low-cost American-made, and finally training as the department expects to fight. Next year, I expect to see drone capability integrated into including force-on-force drone wars, the secretary said. At that time, Hegseth said he had already advanced American drone dominance by stripping away regulations that hindered the military's adoption of small drones and shifting the necessary authorities away from the department bureaucracy and into the hands of unit commanders. In other words, what he's saying is he just created a highway for them to get all of the drones that they want and put them into operation, and there's no red flags and there's nobody to stop them. That's what he just said. All right? So watch this. This was the first step in the urgent effort to boost lethality across the force. Hegseth said in a video posted today on social media, now the War Department is moving out in a new way on the drone dominance initiative, Hegseth said. The second step is to kickstart U.S. Hold on. The second step is to U.S. Okay? Kickstart U.S. industrial. That means putting people to work. That means companies making money. That means manufacturing taking place. Is everybody with me? And reduce prices so our military can adequately budget for unmanned weapons, the secretary said. He noted that with the help of Congress, the department will initially focus on small attack drones. Drone dominance is a billion-dollar program funded by the President Trump's big, beautiful bill. In other words, what they're talking about is not money that has to be raised. It's money that's it's built in. All right, here we go. Hegseth said, it is purpose built on the pillars of the War Department's new acquisition philosophy, a stable demand signal to expand the U.S. drone industrial base by leveraging private capital paired with flexible contracting built for commercial companies, founded by our best engineers and entrepreneurs. A stable demand signal means the War Department will make concrete plans to buy lots of drones on a over a When that happens, American industry will step up to the plate to satisfy the department's needs, including by investing in building out its own capacity to produce and the stock market is always looking where? In the future, right? So this is good news for investors. The request for information released to industry this week spells out a plan that'll begin early next year, when the department will, over the course of 2 years and within, offer to industry and build a large number of small unmanned aerial systems capable of conducting one-way attack missions. Do you know? Yes, there you go. What is a one-way attack mission? They go, they attack, and then they don't come back. So if they don't come back, where are they going to get the next one from? Continued, there you go, continued production, right? So the first of those 4 phases, called gauntlets, run from February to July 2026. During that time, 12 vendors will be asked to collectively produce 30,000 drones at a cost of $5,000 per unit for a total of $150 million in department outlays. There we go, right? Right. And so over the course of the next 3 gauntlets, the number of vendors will go down from 12 to 5. So, right? So which means out of 12, 7 won't make it. 5 will be the golden children. Right? The number of drones ordered will increase from 30,000 to 150,000, and the price per drone will drop from 5,000 to 2,300. Drone dominance will do two things: drive costs down and capabilities up. Hegseth said, "We will deliver tens of thousands of small drones to our force in 2026 and hundreds of thousands of them by 2027. Through the drone dominance program, $1 billion from the Big Beautiful Bill will fund the manufacture of approximately 340,000 small UASs for combat units over the course of 2 years. After that, it is expected that American industry's interest in building drones as a result of the program will have strengthened supply chains, and manufacturing capacity to the point that the military will be able to afford to buy the drones it wants in the quantity it wants at the price it wants through regular budgeting." This happening right now, and they're planning this for the next 3 to 4 years, with a $1 billion budget already given to it. Yep. And so I'm trying to think of what else. So, okay, all right. So we don't have that much left. So here we go.
So the supply chain and everything should be done by July, the 12th.
That was the first phase, right? The first phase.
Yeah,
The supply chain.
they got to build out the supply chains.
How long, when are they planning on doing that?
They doing that now.
They doing it now, yeah.
Yeah.
But the question is this like drones and stuff, would you think that that would then be companies like Tesla that are already in that realm of making, the capacity to make those type of drones, drone companies that are already in existence that are haven't blown up, like those are the 12 disciples basically, or not disciples, but
Yeah. The whatever
who are they?
Well, we'll get into that. All right, here we go. So, equipment is only part of the game. The secretary said, "Doctrine, how the warfighter fights, is also critical. I will soon be meeting with the military services to discuss transformational changes in warfighting doctrine," Hegseth said. "We need to outfit our combat units with unmanned systems at..." Everybody understand what scale means?
Does that mean as many of those as there were?
Scale. So whenever you have something and you're going to take it to scale, what that means is that thing grows exponentially, right? Grows exponentially. So let's say you have one burger joint, right? You probably go shopping at Costco, right? For your burger, buns, all the stuff you need, right? Then you open 2, you probably still at Costco. You open 5, you probably still shop at Costco. Well, you start getting to 7 to 10, you need a supplier, right? And then when you start getting 20, 25, 30, and you start crossing cities, states, all of that stuff, you need that thing to scale, which means you need somebody you ain't picking up nothing. You need somebody delivering your stuff, and you need it delivered on time. You need this much, and that's called scaling. And so at that point, you got to find a business that you can scale with, that you can take your business and stretch it out and allow it to grow. That would be like a Cisco. Right. Yeah. Okay. And so scale, when you see scale, what you're talking about, just think scale means a lot. That's the best way to do it. All right. And so here we go. Let me see. We cannot wait. The funding provided by the Big Beautiful Bill is ready to be used to mount an effective sprint to build combat power at the Department of War. We are adopting new technologies with a fight tonight philosophy so that our war fighters have the cutting edge tools they need to prevail. Following the end of the Cold War, Hegseth said U.S. defense spending dropped precipitously, and as a result, there was also consolidation of defense contractors. Consolidation means things are shrinking. From hundreds to just dozens. The department, he said, budgeted for quality rather than quantity, and for 30 years got what it needed. However, we now find ourselves in a new era, he said. This is key. However, we now find ourselves in a new. Whenever you hear a government official saying that, a government official with power, here's what they're saying. Things are no longer going to be the same. That's really what they mean. We're in a new era. Obama pointed this out when he debated Romney, and Romney was trying to get him on this issue of not of taking money away from certain military aspects, like building tanks and all that kind of stuff, because Obama had taken away a lot of that money. And Romney was trying to jump on him about that. And on the first debate, Obama didn't do too well. He seemed like he was a little sleepy or lethargic or whatever. But on the second debate, your boy was sharp with it. So Romney kind of came with that second thing. On the second debate, kind of came with the same argument. And Obama said, well, we are not spending money on tanks, and he said, just like we're not spending money on horses and bayonets. Right? Right? And what he was getting at was the strategy of military spending has changed because warfare is not the same. We don't fight that way anymore. Right? So all the money you want to spend in tanks and all that kind of stuff, like, you know how much money it costs to transport that stuff to somebody else's land and then transport it back, and all that. We're not fighting that way no more. Right? And so the U.S. started moving toward air combat years ago. Years ago. Way bigger than boots on the ground. We still put boots on the ground, but not nearly as many. Right? And so what you hear primarily when the U.S. gets into some kind of military strike, what you hear is, and they drop bombs, and they drop bombs, and they drop bombs. It's all air defense mainly, right? And so he says, an era of cheap disposable battlefield drones, we cannot be left behind. There it is. We cannot be left behind. We must invest in inexpensive unmanned platforms that have proved so effective. Drone dominance, he says, is how the U.S. will meet the drone challenge posed by other nations. One of my priorities is rebuilding the military. Right? We can't do that by doing business the same way we have in the past. We cannot afford to shoot down cheap drones with $2 million missiles. And we ourselves must be able to field large quantities of capable attack drones. Now, here's the piece that wasn't in here. What the U.S. has done is actually ordered 1 million drones. The 300,000 or the 320,000 or 40,000, whatever that number is, those are the ones they want really, really quick and cheap. But the overall order is for over 1 million at this point, right? And so one of the things when you go, so again, just think of it from an investor standpoint, right? You got to think like an investor. If you're an investor, one of the things that you want to pay attention to is you want to pay attention to, there's a technical name for it, and I forget the name of it. But you want to pay attention to, I'll just name it cultural change, right? I'll just call it that. That's not the word, but I'll just say it. It's cultural change. And what do you mean by that? What do I mean by that? What I mean by cultural change is you want to pay attention to things that change how we live. Right? So years ago, there was something that was created called the internet. That changed how we lived. Right? Like the impact of the internet, it's a game changer. It changed how people live. The internet changes how we work. Right? It's a catalyst event that changes the cell phone. Oh my God, if we would have invested in Apple, because we had the cell phone, but then Apple came out with the smartphone. When Apple came out with the smartphone, oh, it changed phones. It changed everything, right? Why? Because when Apple came out with the smartphone, it put, and we didn't notice at the time, but it put everything that we were carrying separate in the palm of our hands. And so after a while, you didn't notice, but after a while, you couldn't find an address book. Or a telephone. Have y'all seen how small them telephone books look? Listen, them things like 2 pages. Right? Yeah, so, right? And you remember we used to get big old thick. Yeah, absolutely. And then guess what else happened? With the smartphone came newspapers start going out of business. Right? And so it just killed the whole newspaper industry, right? So these are things that literally change the game of how we live. Does that make sense? Right? The model car changed the game for everything, right? And so as an investor, we have to keep our minds peeled to things that come out that we may use, that we may be a part of. And here's the thing, because sometimes we're so busy being consumers, we're excited about what's coming, not knowing this thing changes the game, right? And so this drone thing is a game changer. And let me tell you why. Because when you start fighting with drones, you save human lives. And when you fight with drones, you can be in multiple wars at the same time. And when you fight with drones, they cheat. So you could have a $2 million missile that you can take out with a $2,300 drone. You have $1 million planes, fighter planes, and you can take it. You can take that stuff out. You get you about 50 drones and send them up, and the smaller you make them, and then you put some technology on them or something that they aim for the heat signature of the plane. Oh, listen. It changes the game. It changes how warfare is done globally. Yeah. I'm telling you, drones change the game. Right? And because they're game changers, it might be something that we might want to begin to think about investing in long-term as investors, because they're introduced. And see, and the thing is, right, like we've been so enamored because they doing 4th of July shows with drones. We like, oh, in Vegas, boy, they had them drones and it looked like Michael Jackson moonwalking with the drone. And we were so excited to go down there, and we should have took the money we would use to go to Vegas to watch the drones and bought some of them drone companies. That's what we should have did. That's what we should have did, right? And so here we go. So y'all ready? Okay, so get your laptops ready. All right. So I'm going to give you, we're going to talk about this just a little bit. So here are some companies that you might want to own, okay? I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm saying you might want to think about, pray about owning some of this, okay? Here we go. First company, RCAT or Red Cat. Okay, Red Cat is a drone company, and they focus on tactical drones. Okay, they focus on surveillance platforms. They focus on military-grade small drones. And they focus on software and hardware integration. Okay? Now, I want you to go pull up your trading view and look up RCAT. And tell me a little bit about them. Just based upon what you see on your trading view. Okay? $12 stock. Right? $12 stock. What's their market cap? Okay, so they're a small cap. All right. Okay. So this company is interesting because they focus on ground level, what they call ground level battlefield security. And so these are the kinds of drones. What they do like these would be like drones that you would use, like almost like surveillance kind of drones. These are the drones that you would like if you're monitoring the border, right? And Trump is big on immigration. So if you're monitoring the border, instead of sending all the border patrol agents over there, you just and just watch it. You know what I mean? And so, you put, 100, 200, 1,500 drones in the air, and then you fly them high enough where you really can't hear them, but then you put the cameras on them that they zero in and give you the view that you want, and you monitoring your whole border from a room, right? And so the Red Cat, they kind of center in on drones that are really inexpensive. And the government said they wanted inexpensive drones, right? They want small, reliable, inexpensive drones. And I don't know if you guys knew this, they're already fighting with drones. You might want to look it up sometime. Drones have taken out more stuff, over there in a foreign country or something, and you know what I mean. Somebody they good for, strapping a bomb to somebody and sending them somewhere, or putting the bomb in a car, or something driving it into something. Man, listen, them drones over there blowing stuff up left and right, right? And so this is Red Cat. They're good for that. Okay, here we go. Next, Griffin. GFF, look them up. Go to your trading view, look them up. And what can you tell me about Griffin? Okay, $93 a share. Now, go back to RCAT, because I think there was a little bit down today, but go back to RCAT. And look at the year to date and tell me how much they're up from January 1st to right now. They're up 45% from January 1st to February, what is this, 11th? They're up 45%. Why do you think they might be up 45%? Come on, Messina, they talking now, right? Because this stuff was supposed to start when? Right? So RCAT is up 45%. Now, do you think that you had $6 to $7 to buy some shares January 1st? And by now, you would have just about doubled your money.
So when they say for Red Cat, we're offering
Was that where's that at?
So I'm just reading their IPO.
Oh, their IPO. Yeah. Okay.
And they're like, you can get 4 million shares, $4, $4 per share.
Wow. Yeah. Super cheap. Super cheap.
But you have to get the 4 million shares.
Yeah, you probably need to get to 4 million shares to get that price. But you know what? There's people with 4 million. There's people with that kind of money.
Right, but if you were to do like an option, like an option that we talked about last week, over a period of time, who's to say you may not have to get 4 million shares?
No, you you give however many contracts you want.
I mean, it's only $12, so
Yeah. Well,
you can.
you can. It's optional.
I was wondering, is there a cap on it?
No.
Fidelity is $12.
No, you can buy as many shares as you have money. Okay? So money loan. So Griffin, so what so look at the year to date for Griffin. Mm-hmm.
And you're looking for what now?
The year to date.
27.34%.
Okay. So they're up 27%.
They say 5 years, 313%. Wow. 10 years, 608.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Right? This is why I love the stock market. This is why I'm teaching this. Right? There's nowhere else where you can get those kind of returns if you spend some time and do what you need to do and research and make reasonably good decisions about what you invest in. There's no place else you make that kind of money that fast. No place else. That's a strong buy. Yeah, because probably when normally when you see everything positive, but the all time is negative, is because at some point, probably right after the IPO or something like that, they had a run up, and it never went back to that run up, and it went down, and now it's starting to kind of come back up because the demand is there. Yeah. So, but again, that question is a great question, and that question should be a part of our research when we look at these companies, because the question is, why did it go down, right? And once we understand that, then we know what we're buying. So maybe there was a problem with the company, and then they fixed it, and now it's going back up. Okay, I get that. Or maybe it was a issue with the industry. Right? Or maybe so we don't know. And so researching that and knowing that, finding why did it go up so high and then drop back down, that's information we definitely need to know before we purchase the company. Okay? But the reason why I'm suggesting this company is because this is a supplier. This is a supplier, which means they do manufacturing, right? They manufacture, okay? Not only do they manufacture, they engineer components, right? Not only do they engineer components, they work on aerospace parts. Not only do they do aerospace parts, they work in industrial materials, right? Why is that important? It's important because in order to build the 340,000 drones, in order to build the million drones that they want, remember we read that they're looking for companies that can take it to scale. In order to have a company to take it to scale, you have to have, at that point, scale is working with a supplier. right? Here's a supplier, right? Here's a really good supplier. And so, if drone production scales, right, you need engine systems, structural materials, electronic housing systems. You need manufacturing capacity. And this particular company has what's called a moat, right? Have I taught you guys about moats? Okay. So a moat, what is a moat? Tell me what a moat is.
You mean around the building?
Yeah, tell me what a moat is.
It's a barrier to keep people out. You put water in it,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't get to your house.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have to have a bridge to cross the water.
There you go. Okay. So a financial moat for a company is a way to keep competition out.
And it's spelled the same.
Yep. Yep. It's a way to keep competition out. And the way you keep competition out, and Apple is excellent at this. Apple has a huge moat, right? Because what Apple does is Apple is extremely proprietary. And because they are proprietary, you know what I mean by proprietary?
Every part of everything you want on your Apple thing got to be Apple.
Yes. Apple doesn't play well with other devices. So because they don't play well with other devices, you can't create competitive things to Apple products. So you have to buy Apple products. That's called a recurring revenue model. Right? And so whenever you have a recurring revenue model, what you're doing is you're locking people into your products, and they necessarily need them once they log into your system. So if we create a system and the system is good, people are going to want to sign up for my system. And once they sign up for my system, I got you. Why? Because you're locked into my system. Because we don't play well with everybody else. But you like what I do. It's just like I was, there's this tree. I forget the name of the tree. It's interesting. There's this tree that, and every time you see it, there are millions of ants everywhere on this tree. Millions, right? They infest the tree. Every time you see it, they infest the tree. And they were trying to figure out why do the ants infest this tree? Because the tree secretes a sap that the ants love. They love the sap. And so they go in and they eat the sap, but here's the problem. Once they consume any part of the sap destroys their digestive system. And they can't digest anything else in the world other than that sap. That's called a recurring revenue model, right? Yes. Yes. That's a recurring revenue model, right? And so they locked into the tree, right? And so if you have an Apple device, and we always had these wars back and forth, Apple, Android, and I get it. I get why there's the war, and I happily participate in it because I'm team Android all day. But here's what I know. I know people who are Apple are team Apple because you can't be anything else. Right? You can't because and listen, you can't. It is so hard to get out of the Apple ecosystem. It is extreme down to the ear pods. You can't even go get some random ear. They just don't. It doesn't work right. You can't go get another watch. You can't go. I'm telling you, you can't go get another charger cord. Huh? Not anymore. It used to be. Yeah. 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 But that's the crazy part is they're still making money being subpar to the rest of the industry because of the strength of their moat. Right? And so it's berserk, right? It's bananas. And so listen, so Apple, listen, They master that. And so this company has that kind of thing. They have a moat, right? And so they have a recurring revenue model. And their recurring revenue model is once you log into our systems, and once we come in and you do business with us and we set it up, nothing else really works with our stuff. So you got to keep coming back to us to fix stuff, to replace stuff. Recurring revenue model. Right? All right, here we go. The last one, and this probably is my favorite company. The next one. I'm just finding out about these two. Here we go. Kratos. KTOS. All right. Now this one, he's a boy. Look up KTOS, TradingView, KTOS. What can you tell me about them?
87.78.
Yep.
The market capitalization is 14.82 billion.
Okay.
Their year to date is 14.67%.
Okay. Good. Good. So they're up 14%. Now watch this. Kratos focuses on tactical drones. Okay. Target drones. And autonomous combat systems. And hypersonic missile launch technology. Okay? So when you start talking about target drones, what you're talking about is armed drones ready to pull the trigger. Right? And so Kratos, this company here, this is not a retail company. You don't go, if you want a drone because you want to make some videos and stuff, you don't play with Kratos. That you can't get with them. This is military industrial grade drone technology stuff. This is what they do. They focus on, this is all they do, is they focus on this drone thing. They are the leader in the space. Okay? And so and these are heavy duty. This is battlefield ready, let's go to war type stuff they do over there. And they're pretty low cost, right, for what they make. Okay? Everybody with me? So watch this. So what's our strategy? The strategy is what happens when you put them all together. Right? If you put them all together, what you have is that Kratos is the platform builder. Because they're so robust in what they do, they can build the whole drone platform that the military and immigration, everything else, they can build that whole platform that everything sits on. They have that capacity. They're that good, right? And then if you add RCAT or RedCat to it, RedCat is the tactical deployer. Why? Because they can build cheap drones really fast. Small, fast, cheap. Right? And then GFF, Griffin, is the supplier. So there you have a strategy that has the ability to secure the investor in the defensive space on 3 different levels that all work together. Right? So you have your platform builder, you have your deployer, and then you have your supplier. Okay? Now, out of the 12 companies that are come down to 5, I'm willing to bet these 3 will be in the 5. That's the gamble. I'm not saying I know something. I'm just saying I'm willing to bet these 3 will be in the 5. And there's other companies, so a part of the homework is what other companies are out there and what do they do? and how do they line up? Right? And just because some companies won't be in the final 5 doesn't mean that they're not good to invest in temporarily. Right? You got to think like an investor. We good? Okay. All right. So, okay. Give me your feedback. Give me your thoughts. What you thinking?
I like 2 is cheap. And it's just, well, it's cheaper and it's going by.
Yeah.
Or aren't that, yeah, like it's a, not, number 2, because it's a strong buy.
Mm-hmm.
It's reasonable, money-wise,
Mhm.
conscious choice. It's, for a cheap investor like myself,
Mm-hmm.
it's, you can get more for your money,
Yeah.
and then watch the options. If it makes the top 5, I spend a lot less for a bank
Yeah.
than, the other one.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure, but that, I'm always gonna be middle of the road.
Yeah. Well, that's why they're up 45%,
Right,
right? Because they're cheaper.
yeah, right,
So it's easy to achieve 45% than it is if you're a $100 stock.
right.
Yeah. And so I get it. The only thing is you got it. So as we're going through it, and this is why we went over market caps in the beginning, because there's things that you have to keep in your mind when it comes to market caps. When you're talking about small cap companies, you just have to understand small cap companies, even though there will be some bangers in small cap companies, and you can make 45% returns in 60 days, and and then if that kind of like Palantir was a $6-7 stock, and people got into that, and Palantir last year they was like 180, and they got there in like a year and a half, and so people just made oodles of money off of Palantir. Well, shoot, I made some money off Palantir, but every company like that doesn't make that transition. Right? And so when you're talking about small cap companies, what you're talking about is companies that tend to have a bit more volatility to it, so the risk is higher. Okay? When you start getting into mid cap and especially large cap companies, or mega cap companies, you're talking about companies that are a bit more stable, right? They don't grow as fast typically, but they do grow, and you can make good money off of them, especially if you're playing options, right? Because you don't need a $200 run up to make money on options. You don't need that. And so, because remember I showed y'all my Moo play from last week, and my Moo play was down like $2,500 or something like that. Listen, Moo was up like $34 today. And so, because it was up $34, that thing was, so I looked at it yesterday, and it was down like 68%. I think today I'm down like 20-something percent. Because I think today that thing did, I'll show you, I'll look on there. But I think Moo did like, at least in my account, I think it did like 1,500 or something crazy like that. So it knocked out like half of my down position. So I'm hoping tomorrow we got another one of those. Right? So, but that's what I mean. Like you don't need if you playing options, you don't need a whole. It's nice if it run up that fast, but
They gave us the fluctuation.
they did. Yeah. Yeah.
In 27, we want to be stabilized. So
Mm-hmm.
they're almost giving you the option to play.
Yeah.
If you're reading it and you know about options,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we learned last week,
Right.
they're kind of giving you the play,
Right.
but they've already started.
They've already
So
started.
you have to catch up.
Yes.
Don't
Because
play that play now.
yeah, because Red Cat is already 45% ahead.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. 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 Yes, ma'am. Oh, the market cap? Oh, just go down. If you look it up, yeah, somebody help her with the market cap. Because if you scroll down Trading View, it'll tell you what market cap is. Yeah, that's it. That number. That's the market cap.
Whereas
Yeah.
the other one, RFF, I think, was like
14.82 billion.
much lower, like 3 or 4.
Yeah. I think Red Cap was one. What? 1.43. Yeah. So they small cap, and so they're not micro cap, but they small cap. All right, and so okay, so all right, so again, I wanted to this is part of our opening every week. I want to bring something to you guys and share it so that you guys can see the market from a different point of view. My goal is to help sharpen your peepers when you're looking out. Get into the news, pay attention. As you could tell, as we're reading through the article, it's a simple article, and most people you just read if you read it. You just kind of read through that stuff, and you don't really pay attention. But when you look at it through the eyes of an investor, all of a sudden, key phrases, key words, things they say, certain sentences, it's like, wait, hold on. For the long term? Right, exactly. Right. Is the money allocated already? Right, and so you start noticing stuff. And then it's like, okay, yeah, and like what you said, right? Thinking like an investor. Who the 12 disciples? Right? That's another good part of the homework, right? I just gave you 3. Who are the other 9? Right? So, okay, so a couple things. One of the things I hate about the internet is that the internet tracks you. Hate that. But what I love about the internet, that the internet tracks you. I love it and hate it. And I hate it because if I look up a washer, like I just looked up a washer. I don't need 45 advertisements about washers. I'm like, stop it, right? But if I start looking up stocks, guess what shows up in my news feeds all the time? Guess what shows up in my random news on my phone when I turn to the news part, right? So it's like on on my phone, if I go to my home screen, which is that's my home screen, and then I slide it right there, it gives me the news for the day. And my news is always filled with one of a few things. Something with the Warriors and basketball, or it's going to say House blocks tariff vote ban, right? Because I'm always looking up political stuff. And then right next to it, Vertiv stock jumps on strong outlook, right? And then here's Steve Kerr on the Warriors, 11-0 run. Demand boom sent Taiwan Semiconductor. Right, so it's like as I go down, so you start getting these things, and then when you click on one, it tracks you again. And inside of the article, normally there are links to other articles that it's quoting, and then you just like kind of like when that executive order thing in the article that we just read. That's why I said go over here and read this, because I just clicked on it and it took me to that.
Because it just creates an algorithm, because it feels like you already read.
Yeah. And so exactly. And so that's one way to get up on information that you would not ordinarily know. That's just one way. The second way is, sometimes you do need to have subscriptions to things. Sometimes you just do. One of the things I've learned over the years is that when you really get into something, right? When you're into something, there is a free level for everything you're into, right? It's kind of like doing drugs, right? If you do drugs, there's a level of drugs that you get for free. But all of it is meant to do the same thing. Pull you in deeper and deeper because they're going to hit you with a payment, right? And all of this stuff is the same. So it's like I could tell you to go to Morningstar. That's a news piece. And there's a free part to Morningstar. You can sign up for their newsletters. You can do all of that. And they'll send you stuff every single morning, Morningstar, right? And then they'll start sending you articles, and you'll be going through the article, and you'll be like, "Ooh, this is good." And then you'll read halfway through the article, and then it'll say, "To read the rest of this article, right? you, you need to subscribe," right? Right? Wall Street Journal, the same thing. But some good websites for news would be, so write this down, Seeking Alpha. That's a good one. Bar Chart. That's another good one. FinViz. FINVIZ. I'm not sure what that means, but it's financial something. Yeah, FinViz. Oh, what's that other one? Hilarious. She say TikTok. She say TikTok. Yeah, I don't. And- yeah, you could. So the information is everywhere, and and part of what I'm saying, because like, hold on, let me bring up. I haven't introduced you guys to FinViz, have I? Okay, all right. Let me do that right quick. But hold on, let me do. Okay, so here's bar chart, right? So when you go to bar chart, so when we get into some of the deeper stuff about doing fundamental analysis and looking up stuff, and especially when I teach you guys about how to research stocks for options, because that's a slightly different process, we'll do a lot of stuff on bar chart, and bar chart is really, really good. Oh, Guru Focus, that's the other one. Guru Focus, yeah. Guru Focus will give you some free stuff, and then after so many days, it's going to tell you need a subscription. And Guru Focus is expensive, depending on, yeah, they can be kind of pricey, but they're really, really good, right? And so, but bar chart has a lot of different stuff in it. And so, you type in your stock that you want to go over. This one is Broadcom. And then you just kind of go over it, and then it'll have all type of news and alerts and stuff like that about it. It'll give you all of your fundamentals and stuff like that about the company. And then it gives you this other thing over here, AVG related ETFs. So it'll tell you what ETFs have AVGO in it. It gives you this options overview thing down here that you can get into. This is a boatload of information it gives you for free about stocks. Okay, some of it you're not going to know what to do with until we start getting into the deeper levels of actually how do you handle all of the information. But if you're just looking for information to read, this is a good place to go too. You don't have to have an account, yeah, for this one. Not for everything, okay?
Also possibly do have like the daily stock, stuff like shows on TV in the mornings or in
Yeah.
those if you want to listen.
Yeah. Watch CNBC.
What's the other one? Stock they have like daily
Mm-hmm.
like 60 minutes stock conversations and conversations.
Yep.
If you don't want to like sit and read and maybe you're at home and you just want to listen. I mean,
Yep.
they have all kind of analysts.
All kind of stuff. And then you'll notice, like the more you start listening to this stuff, listen to EYL. Well, I told you about EYL, EYL University or EYL.com. Go on YouTube. Just go on YouTube and type in EYL. Earn Your Leisure. Right? That's what it's called. Earn Your Leisure. Troy Rashad and Ian Dunlap. They have this thing called Market Mondays every single Monday. They're on there and they do 2 to 3 hours on stocks and all that kind of stuff, market conditions, the whole nine. You'll learn a lot. On Tuesdays, the Wall Street Trapper, he has Trapping Tuesdays. These are on YouTube. Yep. Trap and Wall Street Trapper. He gonna trap. Now he gonna preach to you, and then he gonna talk stocks, and then he gonna preach in between the stock talk, and Trap is gonna give you a solid 3 hours. All right, and so all of these things are available online. I can give you a list of people online that I trust. I trust those two, and then there's a few others that I could give you of people that I would listen to that I trust. Be careful of the random person giving stock advice. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, be careful of the random person giving stock advice. Is all I'm saying. Like the person with the yeah, they don't really do this like for a living. They do podcasting for a living, right? So it's like when you listen to some of these people sound like they know what they're talking about, but they make their money from their podcast. You want somebody that make their money from the stocks, and the podcast is just extra, right? So you kind of have to listen to them a little bit to kind of understand who they are, where they are, what they do, all that kind of thing. But yeah, there's a few more people that I could give to you. There's one guy that I like, but he talk fast. Listen, this boy is a fast talker. Let's see. Where's dude at? This dude right here. This boy, when I say fast talker, probably.
Folks, President Trump just listed for one of the biggest wealth transfers in U.S. history, maybe world history. Trillions of dollars are being reshuffled across the economy and across markets through a combination of deregulation,
tax policy, AI-driven productivity, and shifts in monetary policy. In today's video, I'm going to inform you on the latest, what you need to know, and how you can position yourself on the right side of this equation. Understanding where the money is going to flow before it actually does makes a big difference. I'm going to break everything down step by step, make it very easy to understand, and give you concrete ideas on actions that you can take to set yourself up for success. And then it's going to be time for our sponsored segment on Unifuels Holdings, ticker symbol UFG on the NASDAQ. They're
Right, so he's cool right now. When he get into his thing, your boy be and it's the same tone all the way through the video. And he just be, and it's like you gotta get your mind ready for it. But he has some really good information, and he gives you insight on companies that you ain't never heard of ever.
Does he know his stuff though?
He know his stuff. Yeah, he know his stuff. Yeah, he does. He know his stuff. And so yeah, slow it down. Yeah, he know his stuff. And so I've listened to him long enough to be like, okay, right. I like some of the stuff that he says. Some of his stuff though, like you have to listen to him. And I've been following some of so he does a lot of analyzation of different things, and he'll present to you companies like this. That's $1 a share, right? And other stuff. And with him, I think so. Everybody you listen to has this is I don't know why I didn't tell you this before. Everybody you listen to has a way they approach the stock market. Every approach is not for you, right? And so you have to listen to people like that, and so you want to listen to what people are talking about, listen to what they say, pay attention. And then you got to find the person that has the style that matches who you are, right? And so I like him because he finds little-known companies. But I'm not finna invest in all his little-known companies that he gives, because the way he paints the picture, I get it, right? And it makes sense when he explains it, but maybe out of like 2 or 3 that he'll give, one of them things will probably do really well, or maybe they'll do real well for a short period of time, or I don't know. Maybe they'll do well in about 5 years. You know what I mean? But it's not like he finna give you something and that thing finna bang right out. Like he just, and I'm sure he has some of those. I'm sure, but there's a way he approaches the market, and the way he approaches the market is not necessarily my way of approaching the market, but I appreciate the effort, the research, how the stuff that he puts in, his analyzation of certain things, and his exposure to parts of the market that I would not normally have, because right. And so it's so again, everybody you listen to has a way that they approach the market. There are some people, you will listen to them and they will tell you. Yeah, you only need to buy stocks like 2 times a year, right? And they'll tell you that. You don't need to buy stocks like twice a year, right? The year is going to do this all year, and you want the biggest this, right? And so when the year hits the biggest this, then you buy in, and then you just ride it back up, and then you know what I mean? Then they'll tell you, you're only going to get these really big dips, 5 to 10%. You're only going to get those once, if you're lucky, twice a year. But you're only going to get the big dips. You're only going to get that like once a year. And then they'll tell you. So just sit on your money. Don't do nothing. Just wait for the big dip. When the dips, buy then, and then you'll be good. And they'll tell you that, like literally, just you'll be good, right? Then there's other people who will say, you'll listen to them, and you'll be, and they start talking about, yeah, because this happened in here, and then you can buy this and put this, and they got whole strategies because their goal is to make money off the market daily or weekly, right? And then you got the other person, their goal is to make money off the market in 10 years. And then you got the other person, right? And so everybody has a different approach to the market, and that changes what they tell you, how they tell you, what companies they show, the whole nine. Yeah, Bloomberg. As a matter of fact, that's another one. Bloomberg.
What's the name of the person that you're talking about right now?
What's dude's name? I always forget his name. He just go by. I just know him as Zip Trader. Yeah, so I do like Zip. Yep. All right, so let me show you this other thing, because I never showed you this. Where did I put it? Kelly, where did I put it?
You think we ought to invest in Waymo and that other crazy thing?
Waymo is Google. Yeah, so you can't invest in Waymo. You can buy Google though. Okay, here we go. Here's FinViz. Okay, FinViz is very helpful because what FinViz does, FinViz does a lot of stuff, and half the stuff I don't even know what to do because I ain't never played in there like that. But FinViz, most people go to FinViz because of this. That right there. Right? This is what you call a heat map. Okay? So what FinViz does, FinViz will give you this heat map, and the heat map is come on now, what's going on with my thing? Okay, there it is. All right, so the heat map, what this does is this is all of the companies in the stock market, right? Right now, it's on the S&P 500. So these are all of the companies in the S&P 500, and it's showing you how they did for the day, okay? Why is this important? Because it helps to understand where the market is hot and where the market is cold, where the money is going and where the money is going from. Does that make sense? Okay. And so what do you notice? Okay, so tell me where the market is cold. That's Microsoft. That's Oracle. Yeah. So what industry is that? Technology. Technology is normally the hottest section in the stock market, but right now, technology is not being rewarded. So you kind of probably want to stay out of technology, probably, maybe, right? At least I think this is for the day, 1 day performance. Let's look at the year, right? Let me see.
So the green isn't cold, which one is cold?
Cold, yeah. Year to date. There we go. Okay, there we go. So this shows it. So semiconductors, you got a few semiconductors that are doing well so far this year, right? So Mu is doing well. Intel is doing well. Texas Instruments is doing well. I'm not sure what NXPI or ADI is doing, and then there's some other companies in here. But overall, the big industry leaders in semiconductors not doing so well this year so far, right? And in technology overall is actually down for the year, right? But what areas are doing well? Consumer defense and energy, utilities, basic materials, real estate, industrials, right? So far, the big boys, right? You see how big these boxes are? This represents the lion's share of this represents the largeness of the company in that industry. And so the reason why they're this big is because the big boys have funneled money into them for so long that these are your trillion-dollar companies. But so far this year, the big boys done took their money out. And guess where the big boys have put their money? Right? So if you're looking to make plays, if you're looking to do options, you want to go where the money going. Right? So if the money is over here, you might want to put some money over there because that's what the stock market is rewarding right now. Right? This is ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil is a dinosaur company. ExxonMobil is up 29% so far this year. Where? This? Yeah, so that shade of green is 20%. This shade of green is 30%. Yeah. Right? So ExxonMobil. Remember I tried to tell y'all about ExxonMobil, and I tried to tell y'all about how if you buy ExxonMobil and they give you $1 a share for the dividend, and if you get so many, they'll buy you a share. Remember I tried, and then y'all didn't seem excited, right? But now ExxonMobil up 29% for the year. ExxonMobil had been around 102, 105 forever. They at like 155 right now. They blazing. Why? Because Trump went over there and Trump brought home Maduro and his wife from Venezuela. And then because of that, they laid claim to all the oil over there in Venezuela. And Trump told all the oil manufacturers over here, get ready. And because he did that, guess, boom, oil and gas, pop in. Oil and gas, pop in. Everywhere in there.
This goes a lot deeper than just looking at these maps. It's also looking at relationships and who came to visit, who made deals, and estimating.
You see it now. It's like being in the Matrix. You see it. Yes, absolutely. That's why you got to pay attention to the news.
Why you be watching the politics?
Yes. Because these people are. Trump has made more money as a president than any other president in American history. Right? Trump is, he's doing any and everything. But what he's doing more than anything is he's leveraging the presidency for his own benefit.
And he's pacifying like the middle class and lower, not lower, I don't want to say lower class, that's not really bad. But he's pacifying like the big beautiful bill, like it's come out and it's got some kind of cool things in it for middle class and
Like this tax cut.
the tax cut. If you go and you're like, oh wow, look, and then you're like 401ks and stuff, the market stuff, oh that's really great. That's just like he's pacifying, like he's like, oh look, I'm also doing this.
Yep.
I'm giving you guys this on overtime. I'm giving you guys this
Yep.
on
Yep.
these cuts and those cuts
Yep.
to make you happy in the moment.
Yep.
When he's really like he's killing us in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Like with all of this, like we're not looking at like with the big companies. We're like, no black folks are at the table.
None.
And so he's telling us, and we're going, oh wow, look, he's letting us take our overtime and getting a tax cut, and oh, he's increased our mortgage interest by this, and oh, now we're pacified because our income taxes are going to be returned
Yep.
maybe a little bit higher. So now we're not looking at the fact that we're still not sitting at the table.
Yeah. And we won't notice how bad it is for a few years. And then it'll start to creep in and it'll be like, wait. What happened to my benefits? Wait, hold on, wait. $300 for some eggs? What hold on, wait. Right? And it doesn't pay attention, we don't pay attention to it. Because like you said, we're busy. So Trump is doing what rich people in leadership within the United States has done since day one. And again, so Trump isn't new in doing it; he's just effective. And so what he's done is he's taken poor whites, and he's told poor whites, those people are the reason why you are in this situation. And the issue is the immigrants. Right? The issue is you got rapists and everybody else coming over here, and they're causing the problems, and you're taking their job, and they're taking your jobs, and we got to get them out of here, and so you take the focus of a certain group of people and you build them up, and you build them up to where they feel entitled to things, and then and so that they feel that they are better than other groups of people and that they have rights that are not being exercised. But it's not the rich people that's keeping you from the things, it's those people. So now you get these people against these people, right? And once you get these people against these people, now these people are fighting, and nobody's paying attention to what we're doing. Ain't nobody paying attention to what we're doing back here, right? Yeah. Bingo. Bingo. Right? Yeah. Because that's what, like when America began, slavery was an equal opportunity employer. So when they brought the first slaves here in 1619, the slaves were put to work on plantations with poor whites for rich whites. After the Bacon Rebellion, not peanut butter. After the Bacon Rebellion, the slave masters, because the Bacon Rebellion was against the working class, against the aristocracy, and once the aristocracy figured out that they became the target, the aristocracy came up with an idea. Let's go to the poor whites and tell them you're poor, but you're better than them. And so what they did was they took the poor whites off of the plantation, turned them into overseers, gave them title, position, authority, and dignity, And you had poor whites who could not read, just like the slaves. You had poor whites who did not know how to manage money, just like the slaves. You had poor whites who, like, they were all the same. But he put the aristocracy put them over them. So now you have the poor whites fighting the poor blacks when they're exactly the same. And the rich folks getting richer and richer off of everybody. Yeah. And so this is the same thing. I swear. It is the same. There's no difference, right? So and the whole time we're missing this. Right? We're missing this. Right? We're buying gas but not the gas company. We're complaining about the prices when if we would have bought the company, we wouldn't care about the prices because the prices actually help us. Right? So, you know what I mean? Like so we have to reposition ourselves to be in the game that they've been playing. You got to trend up. And it's not about white and black. This thing is about rich and poor. It's the same thing it's always been about, and the white and black thing is used as a tool from the rich in order to control the poor to keep the rich rich, right? You just got to see through the matrix, right? And so this kind of stuff, yeah, absolutely, 100%. It is Trump trying to erase black history is strategic because it gets us, you stupid, this is white people, and then the white people, all white people ain't bad. Yes, y'all are. But who fighting? And he said he making money. He said he making the money. Yes, absolutely, right? And so, so here we go. So what we need to do is we need to, like this, like Caterpillar. The big machineries, right? Caterpillar is up 35% so far. Caterpillar? When was the last time you thought about Caterpillar as a company? And they up there 35%. Rolling. $775. Anybody ever been to AutoZone? Shop at AutoZone? Look up AutoZone stock. We're over there spending money. Look at AutoZone stock. Tell me how much AutoZone stock is. I did. Per share. Right? listen, and we around here singing jingles. AutoZone. Right? And we think that's a cute little commercial. They $3,700 a share. Listen, they over there not playing, right? We over there, we trying to buy some air freshener. They over there not, they are not playing at AutoZone, right?
But they said the year to date is 10.68%, but they said in 5 years, 224.5%.
Which, in
220.
yes, which means how much in 5 years?
224.54.
So 5 years ago, they were 200% cheaper. So they were like under $1,000.
Yeah, but I wonder what the hike is because with them, other than, well, maybe it's now that you can go to AutoZone instead of going to the dealer. You know how before they had certain prices that you
Yeah.
only get from the dealer, and now you can go to AutoZone and pay it cheaper. They undercut the dealer.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Once you kind of get into this and you start figuring out the business models for some of these companies, and you're like, wow, like, okay, I see what you're doing. Right? I see how you do it. Right? It's like, I wish I would have bought, oh man, I wish I would have bought Apple years ago instead of arguing with people online.
Right.
Like, even that whole Apple versus Android thing is a distraction. Why? Because Apple gonna make money. Right? And so, yeah. Oop. Listen, but and the eye-opening thing has to happen because that's what fuels you when you leave to go, you know what? Let me hold on. What I'm wearing? Right? And you start paying attention. Right? You start paying attention when you walk in the store and you're like, okay, what am I buying? Where they get this from? Who made that? Let me look up that company. Right? You start, right? Like, Expo dry erase markers. Who makes Expo dry erase markers? Are they a public company? Right? And because all this stuff again, somebody got to, these are products that we use, right? But we don't pay attention to who makes it, where it comes from, where they get it from. And because of that, man, we miss out on a lot.
Pastor, do you think the expansion of the conversation for investing, especially inside the Black community, is because we're seeing the dissipation of middle class, middle America?
Yeah, I think it's exactly that, and I think that people are realizing I think people are slowly starting to realize that you can't survive if you don't have investments.
Our kids aren't going to make it.
They're not going to make it. They're not going to make it. My daughter, bless her heart, she makes more money. So she's what is Rihanna, 28, 29? She makes more money than I made at that age. But she can't afford to buy anything. Yeah. She can't afford to buy anything. And when I was when I was 20, I think I bought my first house at what, 22, 23? Paid $100,000 for it. Didn't spend a dime to buy it either. I bought it no money down. It's not that way anymore. You know what I mean? Like there used to be, and all of you are old enough, pretty much. How old are you? All of 49. Okay, so yeah, so you remember, there was a time where there were the industry called it a starter home. That was the name. A starter home. And starter homes were priced particularly cheap, and they weren't necessarily in the hood. Right? They were hood adjacent, but they weren't in the hood. It was a starter home. 9 times out of 10 is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, shotgun, or maybe a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, something like that. Maybe 900 square feet, 1,000 square feet, sometimes going down to anywhere between 7 and 1,100, 1,200 square feet. Starter home. Right? And you would go get you a starter home. Right? That was the hope for the middle class, because you could get into the real estate market and you can go buy you a starter home. My mom and dad's first home was on South 21st Street in Richmond. From my understanding, they paid, could be wrong. If my mama's watching, she's going to correct me when I get home. But if I'm not mistaken, I think they told me that they paid like $15,000 for it. Something like that. When did they move? 1963? 64? Something like that. I forget. I'm getting the dates mixed up. But it was, it wasn't a lot, right? The house that I grew up in, that was in the Richmond Hills, right under Arlington, really nice house, huge house, right? My dad paid $33,000 for it. Yeah. Oh yeah. My wife's my first house was 100,000. My wife's first house was 125,000. Hers was 2504 Humphrey. It was a two bedroom, one bath shotgun. Mine is a corner lot, 1800 Dunn Avenue in Richmond. Mine is a corner lot, 3 bedroom, one bath, with a two car detached garage. I bought that for 100,000. Our home in Hercules, we bought it for 255. You can't find a condo in Hercules for 255. You can't find a condo in Hercules for 355 or 455. Right? And so for somebody just starting out, right? You got your job, you doing your thing, you making, let's say you make 100,000. It's and I think struggling.
I think it's 107. A few months ago, they said it was like anything under, I think it was 102 or 107, you were considered to be
Poverty.
in poverty.
Yeah, yeah.
If I think it was 107.
Yeah. Yep.
In like the Bay Area or Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I'm speaking of residential.
Yeah. If you go further out, you'll be all right.
I'm speaking of, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
where the economy is high.
Exactly.
I'm speaking about,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
what you're considered to be,
Yeah. Yeah. It's bananas. And I think you're right. It's the erosion of the middle class. And I think people are starting to find out and they're starting to realize, man, I need 2 jobs. But, like I need 2 jobs, right? And really what that's saying, what people are saying is like I need more income. Like I can't do what I need to do. I'm not going to be able to retire. Most jobs aren't even offering retirement anymore. And now with AI coming, listen, they are eliminating jobs like crazy, and those jobs are going to AI, and AI is now filling spaces that people used to fill. It's just like even this drone stuff, you got to think about it. Those are military positions that are no longer manned. Right? And so, and this is what I learned. I can complain about it or I can reposition myself. Right? Because I'm not in the position to stop it. I'm not in the position to change it. And one of the things I've learned about technology does not wait. It does not stop, and it does not retreat. That's not what technology, you can complain all you want. Technology does not retreat. And it can't retreat because if technology begins to retreat in the U.S., in a couple of years, we are behind the 8 ball with the other countries in the world. So it has to continue to move forward. But right now we're running into a problem, and the problem is people can't find work. Why? Because companies don't need you so much anymore. Massive layoffs, right? And as a result, people, man, how do I make money? And so now what you have is there are more, we are what's called retail investors. There are more retail investors in the stock market than at any other time in the history of the stock market right now. Within the black community, there are more black people in the stock market than at any other time in the history of the stock market right now. because we're starting to have the conversations. We're starting to have classes like this. People's eyes are starting to open. They're starting to see the matrix. They're starting to see, oh, this is how they've been doing it all these years. So when you go over there to Marin and Mill Valley and San Rafael, and you go over there and you go riding around and you see, wait a minute, wait, hold, wait. What y'all doing? Like what y'all doing though? Because it's a community of y'all. Listen, there's whole cities of you guys. And y'all over here sitting on $10 million properties, $5 million properties. And y'all moving in. These are your starter homes. What y'all doing? Right? And now we starting to find out that's what they've been doing. And their parents was doing it. And their parents passed it on. And now they doing it. And they grew up in a household where this was common.
It's funny you're saying that because my father, he was one of the first black stock marketers in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And he used to try to teach us this, but he never, his dad wasn't interested.
Listen.
But he gone now.
Yeah. Yep. And so, when I'm teaching it, one of the things I tell, because I teach it to kids, so, you know, I teach this stuff to youth. And one of the things I tell them, like, listen, don't get angry, don't get upset, don't get mad, don't get frustrated. You're finding out at the time you're supposed to. And the reality is, listen, there's always new markets and new companies. There's always new run-ups. There's another Microsoft coming. There's another NVIDIA coming. There's another Amazon coming. Don't think you've missed out on it. There's opportunities all over the place. We just have to be savvy about learning how to spot the opportunities, right? So, for instance, man, if I would have been thinking like an investor when COVID hit, I wasn't thinking like an investor. I was thinking like a consumer. And as a consumer, I was like, man, how we going to keep everybody connected together as a church when everybody, because oh my God, like how we going, and I'm trying to figure it out, and we already don't have our own space. We already renting space from somebody else. And I'm like, we renting space from somebody else. How we going to keep everybody connected and together and blah, 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 blah. And we like, Zoom. Okay, we need 2 Zoom accounts. And we got to do, and with the Bible study, and then I got to figure, and I'm like, wait. If I would have been thinking then the way I'm thinking now, everybody on Zoom. 500 shares of Zoom. Right in my pocket. Another 100 shares of Zoom. Right in my pocket. Listen to me. Google in my pocket. Why? Everybody is going to be on YouTube because they can't go nowhere. Netflix, right in my pocket. Listen, I would have stocked up.
My first trial coming out of COVID was with the folks that created Zoom.
Yeah, see?
Yesterday in my office, the man that started OpenAI, which is the biggest open AI market in the world, was in my office yesterday. And we were locked freaking down.
Yeah.
We were locked down.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a billionaire. We were like, our whole building was locked.
Mm-hmm.
Secured lockdown because he was in the building.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm a trial coordinator, so I work for a law
Yeah.
firm, so we do trial. We do
Yeah.
major trials
Yeah.
all over the country. But he was there yesterday, and literally, I could see, we have this conferencing center, so he's there, but I wanted to spit on him. Because I was like, what is he, because
Yeah, Sam
I
Altman.
don't agree with AI. I don't really agree with
Yeah.
so Sam was all up in
Yeah,
arms
yeah,
today,
yeah.
his little team and all of that. And it's like you see how arrogant they're so the arrogance of it is so like
Yeah.
so arrogant.
Yeah, a lot of these cats, I don't know too much about Sam, but I know a lot of these cats feel like they're mini gods. And so, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. For these, yeah. So it depends on your philosophy of the market. So my philosophy of the market is I like to buy when stuff is down, because the stock that stuff always comes back, right? But you have to buy good companies, credible companies, solid companies. The problem is knowing where the bottom is, and nobody knows that. Nobody can calculate where the bottom is, and so what I look for, like in technology, I'm still invested in technology, and I'm still buying technology shares. But the question becomes, right? I'm still buying semiconductors. I got a contract with Moo, right? I'm still invested, and so the question for me is, because again, it's just my strategy. I want to pay attention to what the market is rewarding. I want to pay attention what's the story about the market, right? So when all that I did earlier when I told you guys about the drones, what I did was I painted a story for you, right? So when you start talking about these stocks, like, I'm sorry, what's your name? So Abby's right? This is more than just buying some companies. All of these things are attached to a story. And you got to find out what the story is, because the story will start to tell you when to get back in. So I can tell you right now, semiconductors are coming back, and they're going to come back with a vengeance. I can tell you that. And I can tell you that because nothing that is being built out now runs without semiconductors, right? So let me give an example. There's within the semiconductor industry. Let me kind of paint this for you so you can see what I'm talking about. Within semiconductors, the semiconductor industry, there is. I'm going to paint a chain for you so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, there is a company called ASML. Okay. ASML is the only company in the world that makes the machines that are necessary to make microchips, semiconductors. They're the only company in the world that makes the machines that are used to make the chips. The only company in the world that does it. TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor. Taiwan Semiconductor makes 80% of the chips in the world. 80% of the chips in the world come from Taiwan Semiconductor. 100% of the chips made in the world come through ASML machines. TSM's biggest customer is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the biggest company in the world. They sit on the throne. Yes, period. Any industry. NVIDIA is the biggest company in the world right now. Right? And so NVIDIA sells to everybody. Everybody wants NVIDIA chips, right? If you're trying to do chip, everybody wants NVIDIA chips. So NVIDIA has a backlog of people waiting to buy their stuff, but they get all of their stuff from TSM. And they get all of their machines from ASML. Y'all with me? Now, NVIDIA has a bunch of partners, right? And NVIDIA is doing something really smart. What NVIDIA is they are the CEO, Jensen Huang, he kind of slightly genius. Because what he's doing is, the way he's running this company is he's running the company in such a way that he's avoiding being charged with a monopoly, even though he has it. And the way he does it is he takes money from NVIDIA and he invests it in competing companies and creates partnerships. So they just had some kind of partnership or something, if I'm not mistaken, with Tesla. Elon just signed a $1 trillion deal with Tesla where they'll pay him $1 trillion. And a part of that agreement is he has to produce 1 million robo-taxis within a certain amount of time, and he has to produce 1 million robots, personal robots, into the system within a certain period of time. Guess what microchips are about to run all of that?
NVIDIA by way of CSM, by way of
Their stocks are only at $190.
Who? Yeah. NVIDIA, because NVIDIA split not too long ago. They did a 10-for-1 split.
Yeah, so it's
So,
not bad. It's not super high.
yeah. Now you can get into it pretty cheap now because before they split, they were well over $1,000. They'd probably be 2,000 now if they hadn't split.
How are they keeping are they a recurring revenue model?
Who, NVIDIA? Oh, yeah. They just make the technology they use to make their chips is just better than everybody. Even though you have Google now who said they're going to make their own chips, right? So you have certain companies who are trying to make their own chips to try to get up from under NVIDIA, but a lot of these companies are kind of years out from that. And if they're going to make their own chips, they probably can, but the question is, will your chips be as good as NVIDIA chips? Because nobody has chips better than NVIDIA.
That ain't the move right now.
No, not right now. But all I'm saying is, and then all of this that I'm drawing out, all of this is a current war that's taking place, right? These companies are at war. China is at war, right, with the U.S., right? So you have China, right, who's at war with the U.S., right? And again, we don't see bombs flying, but it's a whole war. And it's a war over dominance, right? Who's going to be the big dog on the block in years to come? The U.S. is fighting to maintain technological dominance. In order for the U.S. to maintain technological dominance, they need to fuel their technology. And a part of fueling their technology is why Donald Trump, through the U.S. government, ended up purchasing, I think it was 5 to 10 shares of Intel. And he hasn't purchased shares of NVIDIA. They're too big, right? But NVIDIA is an American company, which is positioning America as the top dog right now. But here's the problem. NVIDIA gets all of their chips from TSM, which is Taiwan Semiconductor. Taiwan Semiconductor is located, headquarters in, Taiwan. President Xi of China just came out and said Taiwan is coming home. Because President Xi wants to go back into Taiwan. So Taiwan, you got to think of Taiwan like Ukraine is to Russia. Right? So he wants to go and he wants Taiwan to come on back home. If Taiwan comes on back home under China, then Taiwan Semiconductor is now being controlled by China. That changes the game. So what Taiwan Semiconductor is doing, because Donald Trump is threatening them with tariffs. So through tariffs, what Trump said is, we're going to put a tariff on you for importing your stuff unless you build companies over here. So right now in Arizona, TSM has committed to $50 billion to build out factories in Arizona right now. They're building them right now as we speak. Because Trump is trying to head off in order to preserve. It's not a bad move. Right? See? So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a whole war right now. We don't see it, but there's a war going on. Right? And so once some of the stuff, once some of the AI stuff, the infrastructure of it begins to be built out and all of that stuff, semiconductors is coming back with a vengeance. Because once you're able to build the platform to support AI in the way that it, in terms of where they want to go with it, there's going to be a ramp up and increase in semiconductors in order to run it. Right? But the problem that you're having now with AI is that you need, because once you, again, just even with chat, right? If you think of chat and how many millions of people are using it, the question is, where do you store all that data? Because chat doesn't forget anything, and it's learning you. All of those, see, because we just interact with it, we don't think about this side of it. But from the developer side, if I got a file on every one of you, how big is that file and where do I store it? And where do I store it and make it fast enough for you to access as soon as you log into the site? And then how do I have more storage so that it grows with you while it's learning you? They charge you for it, which is a recurring revenue model. And so now they're building out storage, right? Storage, memory is key, which is why semiconductors are not up, but Mu is up. Why? Because Mu is in the storage. It's in the data storage. Intel is in the semiconductor production. They have an agreement with the United States. Texas Instruments, storage. Right? And so the companies that are into the storage, SanDisk, it's another company, massive running. Right? Why? Storage. And then, now that you have all of this storage, which they're building out throughout the Midwest and other places, they're building out these huge, huge football fields of data centers. Servers upon servers upon servers upon servers. Who's building the racks? Who's cooling it? Look up Vertiv. There's a company, I told you all about this company. Look up Vertiv. Vertiv is a cooling company that's used to cool the data centers with the server racks. They had earnings this morning, and today they were up 40 $50 in one day. Huh? VRT. Yep. Right? And so what is the year to date on Vertiv? 46. They have 46% for the year. Vertiv. Why? Because they cool the units. Right? And you got all of these miles and miles and miles of these data centers with all of these servers that run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with data constantly being pumped in and coming out and pumped. And how do you run that stuff? Because AI takes a tremendous amount of energy. So now you have to build out energy in order to run the data centers and the AI. So what's cooking right now? Energy. Why? Because they're trying to build out how to power all the data centers. So you got ExxonMobil, which that's a whole nother thing because that's oil and gas. But you got a ton of companies in here that are companies that are built on producing energy. Some of your main companies are companies that are building out nuclear plants. Why? It's a clean, easy way to get the most power that you need to fuel what you need to fuel. Right? Watch this. So then the question becomes, why is, I just showed y'all this. Why is Caterpillar up 35%?
Because they have to carry all of that stuff to the materials to make buildings and materials to make processes.
Come on, Kelly.
She's a little bit smart.
You're a little bit smart. You're a little bit on it right now. Right? Because who's gonna supply the earth movers and the equipment and to build all of the Caterpillar? Yes. This is a whole. This.
Robots right now. My son, he had a job. He's actually putting robots together to clean houses.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. That's going to create a whole nother problem. Because right now, you have a lot of Hispanic people that are doing what black people used to do. Right? And with robots coming online probably next 5, 10, 15 years, especially when they make them affordable that everybody can have one, just like we got computers. Yeah. So that's going to change. Again, that's a game changer. It changes how we live. Right? And robotics is already changing how we work. So what companies are focused on robotics? Yeah. Right? So, yeah, all of this, I'm telling you, all this stuff starts to play together when you pay attention to it. Here's another one. Consumer defense, right? Consumer defense includes inside of it companies where people shop for cheap. Walmart, Target, Costco, right? Why are they up? Because if jobs are being replaced by AI and people are out of work, people ain't got no money. And if people ain't got no money, they can't go shopping. So what do? They retreat to the places where they can get the most for their dollars that they do have. So Walmart is up 15%. Costco is up 13%. Right? So when you start going through it, you start seeing all of these discount places going up because that's where people are choosing to shop now. Because we don't have discretionary money left no more. That's why Macy's is gone. That's why Capwell's is gone. That's why they shutting down Nordstrom's. Gone. No. Give me some Marshall. right? Give me some TJ Maxx, right? And so again, once you start tuning in and paying attention to it all this stuff, everything that you see in society, things that you see, the government talking, all that stuff translates here and it tells a story. And once you understand the story, back to Rosanna's question, once you understand the story, you can start learning where to put your dollars. And the goal is you want to, as best you can, you want to, you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to get it right. You're going to get in some stuff and it's too early and you're going to catch a falling knife, right? That's going to happen sometime, right? And you're going, ooh, that thing down. And you didn't put some money in it. And it's like, man, that thing down another 30%. You know what I mean? That thing down. Right. I thought he was down. That way, whoo, he down. You know what I mean? And so you're going to catch a falling knife. It's not 100%. All I'm saying is, though, if you learn the process and you learn how to do your homework and you do it, to the best of your ability, you make educated decisions, right? And so that's why I said earlier, investing isn't gambling, right? Gambling is you just roll the dice and you operating on wish, hope, and luck. That's not investing. It's strategy. It's strategy. And you're going to lose sometimes, but the goal is you want to win more than you lose. And as long as you do that, you're good. You know what I mean? You are good. And so, So again, this whole thing, right, it starts to tell a story. The more you look at it, the more you understand it, it's telling a story. Matter of fact, here it is. Western Digital, Stargate, SanDisk. Yep, right there, under computer hardware, because all of that has to do with data, right? Memory.
Times too, and Wall Street Journal has some really good articles.
Yep. So, yeah. Yep. Yeah. So the more skills you gain at learning how to tell the story, it helps you to know kind of when and where to get in. So for me, right now, I'm always going to invest in NVIDIA. I don't see no replacement for them. So, but I don't just invest in them blindly. I watch, and NVIDIA has been probably for 7-8 months. NVIDIA has been fluctuating between 170 and 191. Soon as they hit 191, 192, they drop back down. And they stay in that range. So last week, NVIDIA hit like 175, 176. If I should have opened up an options position on them at the 175, 176 because I knew they was coming right back to 180 to 190 because they've been doing it for 6-7 months, right? So today, what they at, 191? Yeah. So I could have ran it up from 70 to the 90 and probably cashed out a couple thousand and, rinse and repeat. But I didn't do it. Yeah, 2 little shares doing something. Yeah. All right. So again, all of that is really, really, really important, okay, for us to know. And so we'll get into the specifics of it, some more specifics next week. Yeah. So thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
Thank you, Pastor.
Who? Yes, they did. Yeah. I did. They sent me a text that said that it shipped out this morning. Yeah.